Peter McGuire, welcome back. It's another week, a big week ahead of us. Last week we saw a huge number of things, including an announcement that Trump may well be immune to the COVID virus. He comfortably avoided a virtual debate, but hosted another event at the White House. So what's happening, we don't know. The doctors won't tell us. Trump's telling us. Markets reacting.
Good morning, Will. Yes, it certainly was. I mean, we saw a sell-off Monday, Tuesday, rebound a little bit Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Strong numbers. Certainly the equities were up, well bid up. We saw China rebound as far as Friday after their week-long vacation or holiday. And that in turn created some good moves across Asia trade Friday. Also, we saw US dollar come under some pressure. So everything that you mentioned as far as the Trump, I suppose, agenda has kept the wheels turning, though possibly not for the positive for Mr. Trump.
Now, interestingly, we're 30 days out now from an election. It's a wild week for global markets. Again, a little bit of gloom around the presidential kind of halted negotiation. The various things happening there that I suspect really are perhaps pushing some people forward, pulling some back. But what are the Democrats doing?
I think where it's sitting at the moment, Trump's running at around about 41.9, 42%. Biden's clearly above 50, and there's that undecided vote, if you can believe the numbers. Now, really what that creates is, I think, turmoil for the Trump campaign. You've got the stimulus issues. He pushed back on that, and that wasn't a positive to the electorate. That created more fatigue. And in turn, if the Democrats, if they're successful as far as gaining Congress as well, then it's going to be a clean sweep for them. 3 weeks tomorrow is the election. I think there's going to be continued volatility. We're in October, and that's traditionally a month of very volatile US stock markets, and it may not shame us this time round either.
So if we look at this chart here, I mean, we've seen the massive stimulus boost stocks, but it's sinking the dollar. I mean, as we unpack that and overlay that, the timing of the election,
Sure.
the various interactions that are happening around the election, I mean, is there a hope that we see more stimulus? Will that, is that what we're looking at that chart?
Well, we may do before the election, and Trump may need to steamroll that through. If he doesn't, then I think it's going to be a positive either way for the market, because they know that there's $1 trillion plus coming in as far as stimulus that's going to boost the equity market in the last quarter. We're in earnings season as well. The US dollar sitting at that US dollar index at about 93.05 this morning. I think that's on Monday. I think it'll possibly go a little bit lower. We'll be in the 92.8 region come midweek, I'd say. So that's really causing a little bit of concern. And where we run from here, equities look like they're going to have a continued strong tailwind, which will be quite good for the economy, Will.
As we talk a little bit about this, I mean, what's interesting, certainly from my perspective, is that the debate has such an impact on equity markets.
Sure.
We think about it. I think what we're seeing here is that people are suggesting that it was a really negative move on Trump's behalf not to take part in that second debate.
Well, the virtual, I mean, he's postponed that because he wants face-to-face, and that's how he best argues the point against Biden. He is behind on that side. I think we've got to give him some form of leeway in the sense where he's got COVID, and he's had it only a matter of around about 9 or 10 days. So he's saying he's not infectious anymore, but I'm not here to debate those comments. The other side is that whilst if his immune system and he actually does regain some strength, that would possibly stand him in good stead to have another debate maybe in a week or a week and a half. So he's still got enough time on his hands. There may be a sympathy vote there, but if he can continue, and I think that's a good point, that if he does come out of this in reasonably good health, then that's a positive moving forward, that a man of 74 and in the physical shape that he's in has been able to come back and rebound. So that's not a bad thing.
Could go either way. Let's take a quick look at these numbers. We've got Trump versus Biden here
Yes.
up on the screen. We've got Biden there with a 51.6 number, and Trump there at 41.9 with a 9.7 thereabouts in the Biden camp's favour.
Absolutely. That's a fairly big lead, to put it mildly, 3 weeks out.
Anything can happen though, right?
No, anything, of course it can, Will. And I think where it runs at the moment, it's Biden to screw it up. I don't think that the market was that impressed by his vice president the other day with her debate against Vice President Pence.
It was pretty flat.
Yep, she was...
and look, to be fair to either side of them, both of them were pretty neutral.
Yeah, though I think Pence...
maybe by design.
Yeah, personally I think Pence was a clear winner, but let's see what the electorate's prepared to discuss on that. We're a long way away from Sydney. Though, as that rolls forward, you can't necessarily believe the numbers, but that's a commanding lead. Trump's really got to pull something out of the bag over the next matter of a week or two to claw back.
Well, let's just quickly let's move on. We'll just have a quick look at the inflation spread as we look at the Europe here, the EU versus the US inflation spread numbers. Where does that sort of sit us, Pete? We're sitting here going, well, it's trending down. Well, it's forecast to go further down here.
Of course,
we're looking at to be honest, I don't know what to read into that. The election, the inflation number, the COVID, the virus.
They're all the inputs.
What is that representing?
Well, that's quite simply what happens when you've got COVID numbers beyond comprehension running across Europe and the UK region right now. The second part of it, of course, is with negative interest rates or near record low interest rates, and you've got is the US dollar as far as that. The US inflation, is that going to bounce, or are they still, be very subdued numbers leading forward? So it's not a particularly wonderful graph to look at and gives you a lot of confidence. I think there's a fair degree of pessimism rolling into the end of the year, and that's where stimulus is going to be well and truly called for both camps.
So what we're really seeing here is a signal for stimulus.
That won't stop.
Hands up, more stimulus, please.
Well,
let's see if we can put some, put an inversion on that negative trend.
Well, if you're looking further into that, that's probably if COVID's going to be as severe as what we anticipate over this winter, then there's stimulus all the way through into 21 and well into possibly 22. So this is a long, drawn out affair, and who knows where it ends.
Mate, let's look at unemployment here. We're here in Australia. We're basically talking about unemployment numbers increasing.
Yep.
We've travelled reasonably well. There's obviously some big hits in April, a little less in May, and look, if we're looking at sort of June, July, and August, seemingly managed. But what as we look towards Christmas?
Yeah, it tells you a couple of stories. Have people fallen off the radar and they're no longer looking for work? There's the first side. The second side is, where do they tick up from here? You would have thought that possibly September would have been a little bit of a rebound, but retail sales still walking across the city. Shops are bare. I was up Paddington yesterday, inner city Sydney. Sunday, normally a bustling shopping precinct. Shops many closed on a Sunday. So that just tells you what the situation is. And the other side, of course, is, do we see a rebound come October or November or December for Christmas shopping? So maybe it's an uptick from here, what impact that has to the Aussie dollar, and of course, where does our RBA play possibly a rate cut early November?
All right, Pete, let's wrap this up. In 60 seconds, give me your top headlines for the week ahead.
I'm looking forward to see where gold trades because of that China market back on track after the week off. I wouldn't be surprised to see that Chinese equity market bounce again Monday and Tuesday, which will in turn, I think, give Asia a nice positive. The next part of it, of course, is what happens with Trump? 3 weeks tomorrow is the election. So if he's going to do something, he's got to do it right now. So that creates again the uncertainty. Where are we as far as the Boris issue? That's further down the week. And I think that's enough to really think about. There's plenty of time to appreciate US equities and where the US dollar goes. So they're going to be the main draw cards.
Peter McGuire, thanks for speaking with us.
Thank you, Will.